Many people still believe that sugar is the single most dangerous substance in their diet, as if it were a toxic poison to be eliminated completely. The truth is far more nuanced, and as a doctor, I can tell you that our bodies actually need glucose to function, especially for brain activity and cellular energy. The real issue is not sugar itself, but the quantity and form in which it is consumed, with refined and added sugars being the primary culprits for metabolic stress. Natural sugars from fruits, dairy, and whole foods come packaged with fiber, vitamins, and minerals, which change the way the body processes them. When people demonize all sugar equally, they often end up with an unbalanced diet that lacks important carbohydrate sources. Moderation, awareness, and context are far more important than fear-based restriction. What makes sugar dangerous is its overconsumption combined with a sedentary lifestyle, which leads to insulin resistance, weight gain, and inflammation. Many of my patients are surprised when I explain that an occasional dessert is far less harmful than daily sweetened drinks or constant snacking on processed foods. Our bodies are remarkably adaptive, but constant spikes in blood glucose without enough physical activity to use that energy push the body toward metabolic disorders. The key is understanding the difference between a treat and a habit, and recognizing that sugar cravings often come from poor sleep, stress, or nutrient deficiencies. If you address the root causes of cravings, your sugar intake naturally decreases without extreme willpower. This is the approach that preserves both health and quality of life. One of the most persistent myths is that switching to artificial sweeteners completely solves the sugar problem. While these substitutes do not spike blood sugar in the same way, their long-term effects are still under study, and some may alter gut microbiota or perpetuate sweet cravings. Relying on them heavily can trick the brain into expecting sweetness constantly, making it harder to enjoy naturally less sweet foods. Additionally, some people experience digestive discomfort from certain sugar alcohols or artificial additives. Instead of simply replacing sugar with sweeteners, it is healthier to gradually reduce your dependence on intense sweetness overall. Training your palate to appreciate natural flavors is one of the most powerful health changes you can make. Another misconception I often encounter is that avoiding sugar entirely will automatically lead to rapid weight loss and better health. While reducing added sugars can certainly improve metabolic markers, it is not a magic bullet, and many other factors like sleep, stress, muscle mass, and total caloric intake play equal or greater roles. In some cases, people who cut sugar too aggressively replace it with excessive amounts of saturated fats or highly processed, sugar-free snacks that are no better for long-term wellness. The human body thrives on balance, and any extreme approach creates its own set of problems. This is why I always recommend focusing on overall dietary patterns rather than one nutrient in isolation. Good health comes from consistent, sustainable habits, not from chasing quick fixes. The most important takeaway about sugar is to see it in context rather than as an isolated enemy. Understand where your sugar is coming from, how much you consume, and how it fits into your total nutritional needs. Keep in mind that the body processes a spoonful of honey very differently from a can of soda, even though both contain sugar. Use whole foods as your primary sources of carbohydrates, limit processed products, and keep treats occasional rather than daily. Pairing carbohydrates with protein or fiber can also slow absorption and minimize blood sugar spikes. By making mindful, informed choices, you can enjoy the occasional sweet moment without compromising your long-term health. Another widespread misconception is the belief that vaccines are more harmful than the diseases they prevent. This idea often comes from misinformation, isolated anecdotes, or misunderstanding of how vaccines work. Vaccines do not overload the immune system. Instead, they train it by presenting a harmless piece or imitation of the pathogen, allowing the body to build memory cells for future defense. Serious side effects are extremely rare, and for most vaccines, the likelihood of a severe reaction is far lower than the risk of complications from the actual disease. In public health history, vaccines have saved millions of lives and reduced the prevalence of once devastating illnesses like smallpox, polio, and measles. The danger lies not in vaccination itself, but in the erosion of herd immunity when too many people choose to avoid it. A frequent myth is that natural immunity is always superior to vaccine-induced immunity. While surviving certain infections can indeed create strong immunity, it often comes at a high price: severe illness, hospitalization, or even death. Vaccines offer the benefits of immunity without forcing the body through the dangerous trial of the full disease. For example, natural infection with measles can lead to pneumonia or brain inflammation, while the vaccine provides robust protection without those risks. Even when natural immunity is strong, it may wane over time, and booster doses from vaccines can prolong and strengthen protection. The goal is not to replace the body's natural defense, but to enhance and guide it safely. Another misunderstanding is that vaccines contain harmful levels of toxins or dangerous chemicals. In reality, the substances used, such as preservatives, stabilizers, or adjuvants, are present in extremely small amounts, far below toxic thresholds. Many of these ingredients, like aluminum salts, have been safely used for decades to improve the immune response, and the human body is exposed to greater amounts from food and the environment daily. Some fears are rooted in outdated formulations that are no longer in use, such as certain mercury-based preservatives, which have been removed or replaced in most countries. The continued safety of vaccines is monitored closely through rigorous testing and ongoing surveillance after approval. This process ensures that any rare risks are quickly identified and addressed. A common tactic of misinformation is to link vaccines to unrelated conditions, such as autism. This myth originated from a single discredited study that has been thoroughly debunked by numerous large-scale scientific investigations. Despite overwhelming evidence disproving this link, the fear persists because it taps into parental anxiety and distrust in institutions. It is important to remember that correlation does not equal causation, and that anecdotal timing after vaccination is not proof of a direct connection. The medical community continues to emphasize transparent communication to rebuild trust and counteract false narratives. Education and open dialogue are far more effective than confrontation in changing minds. What often gets overlooked is the community-wide benefit of vaccination, which goes beyond individual protection. When enough people are immune to a disease, it has fewer opportunities to spread, protecting vulnerable individuals who cannot be vaccinated due to medical conditions. This concept, known as herd immunity, is especially critical for infants, the elderly, and those with compromised immune systems. Choosing to vaccinate is both a personal health decision and a contribution to the safety of others. The collective impact of vaccination programs has been one of the most powerful forces in extending human lifespan over the past century. By understanding the science and history behind vaccines, we can replace fear with informed confidence. Another health belief that refuses to fade is the idea that taking large doses of vitamins will automatically improve health and prevent disease. While vitamins are essential micronutrients, more is not always better, and excessive intake can cause harm rather than benefit. The human body requires specific amounts of each vitamin, and exceeding these needs often results in the excess being excreted or, in some cases, stored in ways that become toxic. For example, fat-soluble vitamins like A, D, E, and K can accumulate in the liver and fat tissue, leading to dangerous side effects if taken in high doses over time. Water-soluble vitamins like C and B complex are generally safer in excess, but megadoses can still cause gastrointestinal issues, nerve damage, or other complications. The healthiest approach is to get the majority of your vitamins from a balanced diet rather than relying solely on supplements. Many people assume that if a little vitamin supplementation is good, then a lot must be better. This mindset fuels the booming supplement industry, which often markets products without strong scientific evidence for their benefits in healthy individuals. Supplements are helpful in certain cases, such as for people with diagnosed deficiencies, restrictive diets, or specific medical conditions. However, blindly taking multiple products in high doses can create nutrient imbalances, interfere with medications, or mask symptoms of underlying health issues. It is important to remember that supplements are meant to fill gaps, not replace proper nutrition or act as magic shields against illness. A blood test and consultation with a healthcare provider are the safest ways to determine real needs. Another common misconception is that natural or plant-based vitamin sources in supplement form are automatically safer than synthetic ones. While the origin of a vitamin can influence its bioavailability, both natural and synthetic forms can be effective and safe when used appropriately. Problems arise when products are poorly regulated, mislabeled, or contaminated with heavy metals or unlisted ingredients. The supplement market in many countries is not as strictly monitored as pharmaceuticals, meaning quality and purity can vary greatly between brands. This is why choosing reputable manufacturers and verified products is crucial to minimizing risks. Trust should be based on transparent testing and certification, not just marketing claims. Some people also believe that vitamin supplementation can prevent chronic diseases like cancer, heart disease, or Alzheimer's. While certain nutrients support overall health and may play a role in disease prevention, research has repeatedly shown that supplements alone are not a guarantee against complex illnesses. Large-scale studies have failed to confirm many of the dramatic protective claims once associated with antioxidant vitamins. For example, health outcomes depend on the interplay of diet, lifestyle, genetics, and environmental factors, not a single pill. Using vitamins as a substitute for healthy habits is a missed opportunity for real prevention. Balanced nutrition, regular exercise, adequate sleep, and stress management remain the true foundations of long-term wellness. It is also worth noting that vitamins interact with the body in subtle, interconnected ways. Taking one nutrient in large amounts can sometimes deplete another, leading to unintended deficiencies. For instance, excessive zinc can lower copper levels, and too much calcium may interfere with magnesium absorption. This complexity is one reason why whole foods are superior sources. They provide a naturally balanced combination of nutrients along with fiber and phytonutrients. Supplements can be valuable tools, but only when guided by evidence and tailored to the individual. In health, as in most things, balance and precision matter far more than excess. Another deeply rooted misconception is that antibiotics are a universal cure for any kind of illness, including colds and the flu. The reality is that antibiotics only work against bacterial infections, not viruses, and using them for viral illnesses does nothing to speed recovery. This misunderstanding leads to one of the biggest public health challenges of our time: antibiotic resistance. When antibiotics are overused or used inappropriately, bacteria adapt and develop the ability to survive future treatments, making common infections harder to treat. Resistant strains can spread quickly within communities and hospitals, turning once manageable conditions into serious threats. The more we misuse antibiotics, the fewer effective options we will have in the future. Many people pressure doctors for antibiotic prescriptions because they associate them with quick relief, even when symptoms clearly point to a viral infection. This not only fails to help, but also exposes the patient to unnecessary side effects, such as allergic reactions, digestive disturbances, and yeast overgrowth. Antibiotics are powerful medications that should be reserved for situations where they are truly needed, guided by a proper diagnosis. In some cases, laboratory tests can confirm whether an infection is bacterial or viral, helping to ensure the right treatment is chosen. Taking antibiotics, just in case, is not a safe precaution. It is a step toward making them less effective for everyone. Responsible use protects both individual and public health. Another myth is that it's fine to stop taking antibiotics as soon as you feel better. In reality, ending a course prematurely can leave behind the strongest bacteria, which then multiply and potentially become resistant. Even if symptoms improve, some bacteria may still be present, and stopping treatment too soon gives them a chance to rebound. Following the prescribed duration ensures that the bacterial population is fully eliminated, reducing the risk of recurrence and resistance. Skipping doses or saving leftover pills for later use undermines the effectiveness of the treatment. Adherence to the prescription is just as important as getting the right drug in the first place. There is also a mistaken belief that newer or stronger antibiotics are always better. The goal of antibiotic therapy is to choose the most targeted, narrow-spectrum medication that will effectively treat the infection. Using unnecessarily broad-spectrum antibiotics increases the risk of resistance and disrupts the balance of healthy bacteria in the body. These beneficial microbes, especially in the gut, play a crucial role in digestion, immunity, and overall health. Disrupting them can lead to secondary infections or long-term imbalances. A precise approach is far more effective and safer than an aggressive but unfocused one. The proper use of antibiotics is a shared responsibility between healthcare providers and patients. Doctors must avoid prescribing them when unnecessary, and patients must understand why restraint is vital. Education on this topic is essential to preserving the effectiveness of these life-saving drugs for future generations. When antibiotics are used correctly, in the right dose, at the right time, for the right duration, they remain one of the most powerful tools in modern medicine. Misuse, on the other hand, risks turning routine infections into dangerous, untreatable conditions. Protecting antibiotics today means ensuring they will still work when we truly need them tomorrow. One of the most commercially successful yet misleading health beliefs is the idea that the body needs special detox programs, juices, or cleansing products to remove toxins. The truth is that your liver, kidneys, lungs, skin, and digestive system already perform detoxification continuously and efficiently without expensive treatments. Most so-called detox regimens simply promote rapid water loss, calorie restriction, or laxative effects, which may make people feel lighter temporarily, but do not actually remove stored toxins in a meaningful way. In some cases, extreme cleanses can even be harmful, causing dehydration, electrolyte imbalances, or nutrient deficiencies. The human body is far more capable of self-maintenance than these products give it credit for. Supporting your natural detox systems with healthy habits is far more effective than any quick-fix cleanse. Many detox marketing claims prey on the fear of invisible dangers supposedly lurking inside the body. They use vague terms like toxins without defining them scientifically, making it easy to sell products that sound necessary but offer no real medical benefit. The reality is that toxins are a broad category of substances, and the body has evolved highly sophisticated mechanisms to neutralize and eliminate them. Unless someone has a specific medical condition, such as liver failure or poisoning, the organs handle this process without assistance. Instead of spending money on unproven cleanses, individuals can invest in a nutrient-rich diet, adequate hydration, and regular exercise to keep these systems functioning optimally. The appeal of a shortcut often overshadows the simplicity of consistent healthy choices. Another persistent myth is that fasting or juice cleanses can reset the body's metabolism. While certain forms of fasting have studied benefits, especially in controlled medical contexts, the idea of a complete reset is misleading. The metabolism is not a computer that can be rebooted. It is a complex web of biochemical processes that adjust gradually over time. Extreme restrictions can cause muscle loss, slow down metabolism, and trigger rebound weight gain when normal eating resumes. Short-term weight loss from a cleanse is typically just water and glycogen depletion, not fat reduction. A better approach is to adopt sustainable dietary patterns that promote metabolic health without drastic swings. Some detox advocates promote the idea that sweating heavily through saunas or intense exercise flushes toxins out of the body. While sweating plays a minor role in excreting certain substances, its primary function is temperature regulation, not detoxification. The majority of waste elimination occurs through the liver and kidneys, not the sweat glands. Saunas and physical activity have genuine health benefits, such as improving circulation, reducing stress, and supporting cardiovascular fitness. But these should not be confused with purging toxins. Overemphasis on sweating for detox can even lead to dangerous dehydration if fluid loss is not properly replaced. Understanding the true purpose of bodily processes prevents false expectations and unsafe practices. Ultimately, the best detox is a lifestyle that supports the organs designed for that very purpose. This means eating a balanced diet rich in fiber, antioxidants, and lean protein, staying well hydrated, sleeping enough, and minimizing exposure to harmful substances like tobacco smoke or excessive alcohol. Medical detoxification exists, but it is reserved for serious cases under professional supervision, not for general wellness trends. By respecting the body's own systems and focusing on long-term habits, you achieve the very benefits that detox products promise without the expense, restriction, or disappointment. True health is not about dramatic cleanses, but about consistent care and prevention. The more we understand how our bodies already protect us, the less susceptible we become to myths designed to profit from our uncertainty. When we step back and examine these beliefs, from sugar fears to vaccine hesitancy, from vitamin overuse to antibiotic misuse, and the allure of detox, a common thread becomes clear. Each myth takes a small grain of truth and stretches it beyond its scientific context, turning it into something distorted and misleading. Fear, marketing, and oversimplification often replace careful analysis and balanced thinking, leading people to make choices that feel right emotionally but are unsound medically. Good health is rarely about extremes or single solutions. It is about a network of consistent, moderate actions that reinforce one another over time. The more we understand the body's complexity, the less likely we are to fall for overly simple promises. Critical thinking is as essential to health as diet and exercise. The modern information landscape has made it both easier and harder to stay healthy. On one hand, credible knowledge is more accessible than ever before. On the other, misinformation spreads faster and more persuasively than factual science. The challenge is not only to find the right information, but to develop the ability to evaluate it critically. This requires questioning sources, understanding the difference between correlation and causation, and being willing to change our views in light of new evidence. As a physician, I have seen how education empowers people to make better decisions and avoid preventable harm. Health literacy is a skill that benefits everyone at every stage of life. Another important realization is that myths persist because they often offer comfort or a sense of control. It feels simpler to blame one nutrient, to trust a pill over lifestyle change, or to believe in a quick reset than to accept the slow, steady work of maintaining well-being. Recognizing this human tendency can help us approach these beliefs with empathy rather than judgment. People are more likely to change their minds when they feel understood and respected, not when they are shamed. This is why effective health communication blends compassion with clarity. Facts alone are not enough. They need to be delivered in a way that connects with real human concerns. In the end, the most valuable health advice is rarely flashy or revolutionary. Eat a balanced diet that includes a variety of whole foods. Move your body regularly and in ways you enjoy. Sleep well and manage stress as actively as you manage your physical fitness. Seek preventive care and follow evidence-based medical recommendations. These simple principles may not be headline-grabbing, but they form the backbone of a healthy life. If we commit to these fundamentals and remain cautious about health claims that sound too good to be true, we can avoid the traps of misinformation. Every choice we make, whether about food, medicine, supplements, or wellness practices, should be guided by the best available evidence and a realistic understanding of our own bodies. My hope is that by addressing these myths, we can replace fear with confidence and confusion with clarity. When we protect ourselves from false promises, we also protect our long-term well-being. In that way, the greatest antidote to health myths is knowledge itself, applied with patience, balance, and a willingness to learn.